Good evening. So we're going to switch off just because of internet connection issues. As you can see, we're doing a very 21st century remote meeting tonight. We have a quorum. Two of the three commissioners are here. We expect the third to be here, but we can start. This is the July 2023 meeting of the ANC 1C Alcoholic Beverage Control and Public Safety Committee. Commissioner Falskin, you had something to say? You're good. Okay. So let's see. Well, first on our agenda is an update from MPD's 303. Lieutenant Miller, I believe, is here. Welcome, Lieutenant.
All right, you got me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
There we go. All right, well, let's see here. All right, so basically for the last 30 days, some of the violent crime was up. Last month we only had 5 robberies. This month, or the last 30 days, we've had 10. Burglaries last month we had 5. This month we've had 0. Or the last 30 days we've had 0. And motor vehicle thefts, we had 6 the previous month. This month we've had 3, so that's down by 3. The robberies, from June 26th to July 2nd, there was 14 robberies in the district, and 8 of them happened in PSA 303, and it was all for the same suspect operating a silver Porsche SUV. All of them were involving a weapon, a gun in most cases. Some of these property was actually obtained. Some of them, the victim got away and nothing was stolen, but it's still considered a robbery. That same lookout was responsible for 24 robberies in the District of Columbia between June 22nd and July 4th. And there's been no arrest in that. So 8 of them happened in 303, and they were all on the 1800 block of Columbia Road. And let's see here, 18 Columbia, 1630 Euclid, 1800 Columbia, 1800 Columbia, 1844 Columbia, 1841 Columbia, and 1864 Columbia. So we had a large uptick in the robberies because of those individuals. The crime suppression team made 2 arrests on 17th Street, 2500 block of 17th Street for possession with intent to distribute marijuana. The second arrest was possession with intent to distribute crack cocaine. And so that was 2 arrests. And then there was also 4 additional arrests for illegal gambling. And that's the same group of people we're having next to the Popeyes, 17th Street. So they're making arrests up there. I had a meeting yesterday with the Adams Morgan thing, and they were concerned about the incident that happened at the Safeway. The lady was leaving the store. A shoplifter was leaving at the same time, ran her over. And then not only did he run her over, he began to punch her in the back of the head. The detectives have got a suspect looked out for that. They got the video footage, so that's been broadcasted to all the officers, but that is still open. I know last time you guys were asking about the 2 homicides that we had. Both of those to date are still open. The one on, let's see here. The one on, let's see, December 17th at 1739 Euclid Street, they have 2 suspects they're looking at. One of the suspects is actually deceased. He was killed in another act of violence, a shooting in the 7th district. So that both of those are still open. Nothing additional on those. That's all I have. One other thing is a new policy that's come out for vending violations. People selling stuff on the side of the road. No longer is it a criminal act, so MPD does not get involved for enforcing vending laws. So if there's any people that have concerns about people vending without a license, selling stolen stuff, now they're supposed to email vending at dc.gov, and it's handled by DLCP, which I think is a subdivision of DCRA.
I think it's that they separate into two. So Department of Building plus DCB, I think that's really helpful information. Thank you. You said one of the two, just to clarify, one of the two people that was a suspect for one of the homicides in December.
Yeah, that was the individual, the guy that was killed was Darren McQueen, and that was the one that happened at December 17th at 1739 Euclid Street. They had two suspects that they're looking at, and I don't know if they were both involved or what it is, but the detective said one of the suspects that they were looking at has since been killed in a another violent gun involved incident over in I think it was at the 6th or 7th district. So both of those cases are open, and as of now, the one that happened on 2469 18th Street, that one, they don't have any suspect information listed when you look at the case file on that.
Okay. And the series of robberies with a weapon on Columbia, they said that was the vehicle to look out for is a silver Porsche. Is that correct?
Yeah, silver Porsche SUV. Okay. And it hit 8 times in PSA 303, and it actually hit 24 times in the district alone. But in that time period, 8 of them was in PSA 303, and it was the lookouts for a silver SUV. Let's see here.
Was that within the time frame? Was that over the course of several weeks or several days, or what?
Yeah, it was between June 26th and July 2nd, and they happened at 1840 Columbia, 1800 Columbia, 1864, 1841, 1840. And all of these happen like on the midnight tour. So most of these happen when the clubs are closing. These happen range from 11 a.m. to 3 o'clock in the morning. So the people walking home from the nightclub, walking back to their cars, walking back from getting off work at the nightclubs, they're the intended targets that these individuals were casing.
Yeah. I'm not sure if it's the same incidents, but I've had constituents, because that's exactly what I represent. I've had constituents in those buildings that noted some concerns. Good to know, I guess. Hopefully it gets resolved.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is like, when we start each shift, the resources are all laid out in all the PSAs, but Friday, Saturday night, Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, all the resources end up on U Street. All the violence, the chaos that happens down there, it's like it gets so big and it just snowballs that at the end of the night, come 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, 80% of the officers are on U Street handling calls for service. So when you have people up in 303, 302, 305, the manpower, it doesn't permit to have them up there the entire time. So
a few months ago, the mayor had declared kind of a nightlife. I forget the specific terminology.
It was supposed to, 18th Street was supposed to get the same as U Street, had nightlife incident commander and everything, but talking to DPW and all the other agencies, nobody has the resources to come up there. I mean, even the DPW tow trucks, I get calls all the time about at night, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, all the Lyft drivers, Uber drivers are blocking all this stuff, picking people up in Addis Morgan, and there's no resources to send up there.
From your perspective, who would be appropriate to push to get more attention to that? The mayor's office?
Yeah, the mayor's office, because it seemed like when it started off and it got a lot of attention, I mean, I was going to the meetings and you had people from the hack inspectors, the taxi cab, Uber, Lyft enforcers, DPW. We had streets blocked off on U Street. We had ABRA out there every day. We had CSOSA out there every day. And then it's slowly but surely, I go to the meetings and it's 6 people in there from these other agencies. When before it was standing room only. So.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Commissioners, any other questions, comments? All right, well, thanks for the update. Commissioner Shapiro, you have something?
Yeah, you mentioned the Lyft drivers blocking the street, Lyft and Uber drivers, not to condemn one company or the other. When you had the substation up at the plaza, there was 1 or 2 spaces that were reserved for police vehicles.
Yeah.
I think they still had that sign there.
Yeah, we have one spot, which every time I drive by there, somebody's parking in it. So We don't, I mean, we have foot beat officers that are up in Adams Morgan. They're usually on foot unless it's inclement weather. So sometimes when they take a car, they'll park it there. But basically, if somebody's parked there, they just tell them to move, or they'll find another spot to park themselves. Enforcing the regulations for Uber and Lyft is kind of tricky. It's not like it used to be when we had regular taxi cab laws and regulations, where you had a whole list of stuff you could go through and inspections, and they had certain stuff they had to do. Uber and Lyft is totally different, and it's hard to enforce all the different regulations that they have with them, because it's basically for hire drivers or just private individuals. I mean, there's stuff where if they don't have like the placard in their car that says Lyft or Uber that's lifted up, that's a violation. There's so many other stuff, but they don't have the people that are enforcing it like they did before, like the hack inspectors, the for hire inspectors.
So in other words, the old taxi cab commission, which is now for hire passenger vehicle commission, whatever it is.
Yeah.
They don't have sufficient resources to even enforce the meager laws on Uber and Lyft.
Yeah, because they're not only do they do them, they also do like the vendors with the food trucks. So I'm sure like on Constitution Avenue on the weekends, they're down there. And then on nights, I think there's like one, maybe two that I've seen on U Street enforcing. But if you go down U Street, you can't get down there. You can't go a block. Everybody's double parked. All the Uber drivers are double parked. And that was what they try to do by blocking a certain direction on U Street at one point. But then now they're not even blocking the road, and it's got back to being a free for all again. Because that's what everybody's doing. Everybody's waiting for Uber and Lyft, and it's hard to make it as an officer. You're trying to get these people to go home, so you kind of have a little bit of leeway because you want them to get in the car and leave. But then at the same time, you got like a whole line. You can't drive on 18th Street or U Street on Friday and Saturday night.
Anything else, Commissioner?
No, sir.
All right, thanks. Well, thank you for the update. Of course, not the greatest one, but
Yeah.
not really on you, right?
Yeah, if you have any other questions or anything, just shoot me an email for the next meeting, or I can address them before the next meeting. That's no problem at all.
Great, thank you so much.
All right, take care, guys.
So we do have quite a bit of an agenda tonight. Let's see, first on the agenda, actually first, I believe there's a proposed addition. Commissioner Palskine, is your audio working? If not, you can type things in and I'll just say what you have to say. I'll move.
It is working now.
Okay, perfect. Go ahead.
Thank you. I actually haven't heard back from the folks at Sihei Restaurant that I reached out to, so I think we can not move to add that and just consider it in September.
Okay, that works. And I did notice that on the dates, I think it passed for, yeah, the protest petition deadline was in June. So yeah, okay. So we'll move on. The first item of the rest of our agenda is from Foxtrot, considering an application for a Class C restaurant license and a retail Class B full service grocery store. I don't remember who, I know I've emailed, but I don't remember who is representing Foxtrot that's here tonight. So if you could
It's Kyla.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Kayla Brown. Yeah. Welcome. How are you doing?
Hi, good evening. Actually,
Whatever you did, it cut your audio. Might be good with headphones.
hello.
Hey, how are you
There
doing?
we go. My headphones stopped. I apologize. Sorry about that.
All right.
Good evening. My name is Kayla Brown with Foxtrot, and I actually have Lisa Stafford, who is with our design team, joining me. Also found out today that our legal counsel that we use, Andrew Klein, he's on the call for another item, but just in case we need him to pick up anything, I might punt a comment to him if necessary. So we are excited to be here.
Please go ahead, introduce what you're doing, what you're looking for. We're all ears.
Yes, absolutely. So this will be right now we have 5 active locations in DC. We're going to be opening our 6th pretty soon in Logan Circle. This will be our 7th DC location. And we are looking for a Class C and Class B alcohol license. So with Foxtrot, we're a very unique concept. Think of a kind of an upscale corner bodega with your favorite cup of coffee, where you can also grab your lunch, your dinner, and any other kind of basic necessities that you need. So with that, we do have the on-premise consumption, and then we also have the package beer and wine sales to go as well. The location is planned to have an outdoor seating area that will be in a few seats in the front of the sidewalk, and then also further back on, I believe it was Adams Mill Road. There'll be a few additional seats as well. And we are still in the process of that permitting phase. So we have not applied for DDOT yet for the public space. So that will actually be coming back before you all at a later date as well.
Perfect.
Yeah, so we typically our locations, we operate between the hours of typically 6 a.m. to 12 a.m. is what we put on our applications and have been able to operate within DC. And then alcohol beginning from 8 a.m. to 12 a.m. And then we also have a delivery component with our business as well. Are there any specific questions or information that I can provide to you all to give you a better idea of our concept or the location?
Sure. I'll start with one. It's kind of a specific question, but as far as delivery and kind of car input output, what do you have a plan in place for basically where cars are going to park and how they're going to get in now?
Sure. So we do use a third-party service. Right now we don't do that in-house. So they would, I don't believe a specific space has been defined yet. However, we are certainly open to any comments or feedback that you all have on that area. I can tell you that our team does package stock the local or the delivery order, and then a driver comes in and picks it up. I would say that this is definitely a secondary part of our business, but a piece that our customers really love to have available to them.
That's not a unique business model this day and age, right? So,
no, nope, it is not at all. It's kind of the world that we're in now.
Commissioner Shapiro, your mic's off. You have a question?
Oh, yes. First of all, disclosure. I do know your counsel, so let me disclose that up front. And then the question about the delivery.
Mm-hmm.
So you have not set up where the DoorDash or the Uber Eats drivers will be stopping yet?
We have not finalized that. I'm just actually pulling up my plan here. And I'm not in the area, so I do apologize. I'm actually out of state. So I'm just looking at our cross street here. So it's Adams Mill Road Northwest, and then it intersects with, please tell me if I pronounce this incorrectly. Is it Lanier Place Northwest?
You did better than most people who live here.
So, oh, yay. So, and Lisa, I'm not sure if maybe you've had any discussions with operations or if this is an item that we can bring back to you all. Do you have any feedback on that, Lisa?
No, this is an item we could definitely bring back. Great question of how this corner intersection, there's a lot going on there in terms of, bikes and people in cars. So I think this is a good note for us to look into with our operations team and how we will work with the delivery drivers here.
Commissioner Falcini had a great idea, which I totally support. I don't know whether you can do it or how you can do it, but restricting or orienting yourself to bike and scooter deliveries. I'm a little concerned that there's a safety concern at that intersection because it is literally it's a 5-way intersection and it's, you add parking in front of you and that's going to be a bit of a problem. I don't. If you, I'm surprised you haven't looked into this. I think it's something that needs to be addressed. Are you a national firm?
I'm with Foxtrot. I'm the manager of license and compliance. So we are a Chicago-based company, and right now we have stores in Chicago, the DC area, Northern Virginia, so the Alexandria, Arlington area, Bethesda, Maryland, and then also Dallas and Austin, Texas.
Okay.
And what I can do on that point, and Andrew Klein, please jump in if you have any thoughts on this. But we can certainly take this delivery item back and discuss it, like Lisa mentioned, with our operations team, and come back to you on that item.
And I assume that the trash is going to remain inside the way it is now, or the way it was for Pete's.
Yes.
Okay.
To Jake's point, sorry, Kayla, we do have couriers on bicycle for our deliveries at the moment. That is incorporated into our business model, just so everyone is aware of that.
Thank you for confirming that, Lisa. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Good question. And I'll just second that. There's a lot of traffic complications. That specific location. The four founders did not plan for the modern economy when they did that intersection. So there's a lot of things. I mean, I know that there's quite a bit of space for street area as well. I don't know if it's open to modification for that, but something worth considering. My commissioners said. Any other questions, comments, commissioners?
Just a suggestion. There's 12 parking spaces that are normally for rent right across the alley.
Looks like we have one hand from an attendee that's calling by phone. A 202 number. Welcome.
Hi, this is Dennis James speaking.
How are you doing?
Yeah, good. I've been in touch with Kayla, or Kyla, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. And we've proffered a settlement agreement for the combined two licenses on one agreement. And I just wanted to mention that as a starting point, but the delivery that you're talking about could probably be handled through the building's loading dock, which is almost always open doors, rolled up door or whatever, and has an alley, which is adjacent to some of this parking. I think that might be what Commissioner Shapiro was referring to, but there's room there for a vehicle to pop in and get loaded up and move on out. I'd also mention that Lanier has a firehouse on it, which is quite a critical thing. You don't want to get in the way of that, especially if it comes to pass that our U Street firehouses move somewhere else for a while. It'll become more important to have the local one moving freely through the neighborhood. That's about it right now.
Great thoughts. I agree. Thank you for that. Anyone else in attendance have any questions or comments? And as far as just to clarify, hours till midnight, that's something that's on par with other locations in DC. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yep.
Okay, that's what I thought. And also to clarify, you're not seeking any stipulated license. Is that correct?
Correct. Yep. We would have the licenses issue with the completion of construction, which we're still a little ways out from.
Okay. This was my next question. Any idea of a general timeline, or is it still something that kind of depends on lots of things?
It is. We are in for permitting right now. And so I believe, Lisa, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this was going to be like a fall 2024 or mid 2024 opening.
This one, sorry, my apologies. I'll pull this up. This is, I believe, November of this year, actually.
Oh, I'm sorry, 2023.
2023,
We're not in
No.
2024 yet. My apologies.
No worries. I believe we're targeting end mid to end of November for end of construction
Uh,
this year.
I know a lot of people in the neighborhood are very, at least from what I've heard, very eager to see that particular spot filled with something, and also excited to see Foxtrot get their shot at, holding down that corner. So we'll see.
We are thrilled to go there. And from what I've heard from our real estate and development leadership is they are really thrilled about that. We seek unique spaces, unique neighborhoods and unique spaces. We love spaces that are kind of one of a kind in their own special way. That just really fits within what we do. So I know that as an organization, we're very excited about this location and coming to your neighborhood.
Likewise, thanks. Well, I don't have anything further. We don't plan on, we'll see how it goes through the rest of this meeting. Don't plan a meeting in August, so we'll likely consider this, depending on how, I guess, this next 30 seconds goes, consider this in our September meeting. Seems like our meeting schedule fits well with your schedule, so hopefully that works. So I'll move for us to consider this at our full ANC meeting, which is, I forget the day, first Wednesday of September. Second.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. We got a second. All right. Put it to a vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. All right. So it passes 3-0. Thank you. We'll be in contact regarding settlement agreement and everything else. Next on our agenda is New Queens Cafe. They're applying for a Class D. We're hitting in full alphabet tonight, right? So a Class D restaurant license located on 18th Street, 2405 18th Street. I apologize, I don't know who we were in contact with. So whoever is appropriate for this, please raise your hand. We'll raise you and love to hear from you.
I'm back.
That's you. Welcome.
Good evening. Nice to see all of you. Andrew Klein here on behalf of Queens Cafe. As you said, this is an application for a D license, which is beer and wine only. This is a small place, 50 seats, total capacity of 54, entertainment endorsement for purposes of having a DJ once in a while only, no dancing, pretty straightforward, very small place. Happy to answer any questions or address any concerns that you might have.
Yeah, thank you. So the timeline for opening, do you have any idea what they're looking at?
As soon as he can get licensed, he wants to open.
Is the application for a stipulated license as well, or is just the full license?
I mean, we would love that. So yes, I mean, if that would be considered, we would certainly love to have him approved for a stipulated license.
Okay, as I said, our meeting schedule, we're hoping to take August off, so it would probably be September. But so the most ideal situation I imagine would be tomorrow or yesterday, but September would be kind of within our reason right now. Commissioners, any comments, questions? Commissioner Shapiro, go ahead.
Once again, for disclosure, I do know they're at council.
Mr. Shapiro, lots of people know me.
Yeah, I don't want to be accused of not disclosing anything. All right.
All right.
Appreciate that. Thank
you. Is that building still owned by the Walker family?
I don't know.
Okay. You don't know who owns the building?
I've dealt with Paul Lucas.
Okay.
And I've known Paul for many years because he used to be a tavern operator in Georgetown way back in the 80s.
All right, so it's just the basement space, not anything above the basement.
Correct. Yeah.
I don't think I have anything other than that.
Commissioner Paleskini did have kind of related to that in the comments. Housing directly above. So I don't remember exactly the specific unit. Is there residential? Are there residential units above this? Do you know?
I don't think yeah, I think. Yeah.
All right.
The housing is all the way up. There's there is something on the what would be legally the first floor, since this is legally the basement. Mm-hmm. It's a retail store currently.
Okay, I think I remember which one it is. So anyone in the audience have any questions, comments? All right, well, it's simple. Thank you. I'll move to have us again, consider this at our first Wednesday of the September meeting. Can I get a second?
Oh, this is 2405. Okay, yeah.
Sorry, Commissioner Wood, just point of information.
Sure.
Is Mr. Klein open to a settlement agreement with the neighborhood for this?
If there are
request?
issues identified, then that's the way to get them resolved. I mean, we're happy to discuss resolution of issues. You may or may not know, I'm not a big fan of template settlement agreements, but if there are specific issues identified, yeah, we're happy to talk about getting them resolved. And if that requires an agreement to make sure that the applicant is doing what the neighborhood needs, always happy to talk about it.
Great to
That's
hear.
great. In which case, I second and would also be supportive of a stipulated license.
Great, let's put it to a vote. All those in favor of considering stipulated license and full license support at our September 2023 meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
No, passes 3-0. Thank you so
Great,
much.
don't de-elevate me because I have the next one too.
Just about to say, let's move on. The next item is Federalist Pig. So I guess every single item tonight is a different type of application, which is, I think, a first. So this is an application for substantial change to a Class C license. Take it away.
Yeah, and I think they haven't been before this committee, but they've been before the ANC in connection with the modification of the Sidewalk Cafe. So this shouldn't be new to you. We do need the approval for the substantial change because they've essentially combined two spaces into the one space. So it's to increase the interior occupancy from 50 to 72 and the Sidewalk Cafe for the Sidewalk Cafe endorsement from 12 to 24. Hours are somewhat limited till midnight. And that's about it. I mean, the place. I think it's terrific barbecue personally. I'd love to have them in my neighborhood. But happy to answer any questions or address any concerns that you might have.
Thank you. When they last presented to us, that was my complaint, that their barbecue is too delicious and I can't ever get any of it. So maybe the seating will help. We'll see. Commissioners, any questions, comments?
Nope.
All right, neither. Anyone in the audience? Looks like no. Yeah, this is an easy one. I mean, we want to see more seating. Good business, good neighbor. I guess I'll move to consider this at our September 2023 meeting. Can I get a second?
Second.
All right.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Passes 3-0. Thanks for your time, Mr. Klein.
Great, thank you. Good to see all of you. Thank you very much.
Likewise, have a good evening. And we have one more item on our agenda for mixed BU. I think this is one of our more traditional applications tonight. It's a Class C restaurant license. Mixed is located at 2427 18th Street. So we have, I think, 2 people that are about to be promoted. Elena and Greg. Welcome.
Hi.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good.
Well, we won't waste time. Welcome to our committee meeting. Please introduce us to your business. Let us know what you're looking for, things like that.
Sure. My name is Elena James, and I'm looking from Mixed BU. I'm looking for a Class C. I'm applying for a Class C. And the hours of operation are 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. and weekends 10 a.m. to 3 a.m. We're pretty much in an American style food and drink establishment, but looking more on the healthier flair of the food and beverage industry. So doing things that are a little more on the healthier side when it comes to fresh fruits and things like that. We're aiming towards providing healthier options. Also mixed with more traditional foods as well, but but a healthier flair is what we aim for.
Oh, that's interesting. Out of curiosity, when you say healthy and fruits, like what specifically are you hoping to include on your menu?
So we have things like avocado toast, which is a little different for the area, and then I'm doing like smoothies, but even with like some of our drinks, including fresh fruits and even fresh fruit juice into our cocktails and things like that.
I mean, I love fruits, so that's great for me.
Yeah.
Uh, typical things, I'm not sure if you've dealt with this before, but in sound mitigation, trash mitigation and control, impact on parking, are those things that you've assessed? What do you expect your impact to be? How do you expect to mitigate those potential issues?
Yes, definitely. Any trash. I already spoke with waste management, and a couple of my neighbors, they also use them as well. So depending on the amount of trash that we have, we already spoke to them. They're pretty frequent in the neighborhood, so we can always up our trash with them, which is a great thing. So definitely keeping the outdoor area clean in the front and the back is definitely top priority for us to keep our area clean as well as our neighbors as well. And what was the other?
Was it noise? Do you have music, things like that? Is that something that you're planning to encompass?
So we do have music in the establishment, but we may have a live band here or there, but nothing out of the ordinary.
Did you do that? Gregory, now I can see you.
So you're looking for an entertainment endorsement?
I wouldn't say that. We are looking to have, a DJ here or there, but it wouldn't be something that's like on our list as a frequent thing.
And from what I can tell, not part of the application. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, that's not in the application. Maybe I should interject.
Please do.
We also have Jeff Jackson on the call who helped us draft the application. So just by way of introduction, I'm Greg Nixon. I'm the person who purchased the building from, I think someone mentioned, Commissioner
Walker.
The Walker earlier. I bought the building from the Walker family and embarked on a journey starting a year ago to fix the building up, clean it up, work with Kristen and the bids, clean up the alley in the back, which was a hot mess. And then I really wanted to find a tenant who was going to be serious about a good business that was consistent with at least my view of the great community of Adams Morgan and what that strip wants. A little different, no real club scene. We've got a few clubs on the strip. I live nearby. We didn't want that. We wanted something fairly wholesome, but consistent with what was there, which was the old Black Squirrel, which later became Seasons and Sessions. So painted the building, we cleaned it up. I rented it to Mixed BU or Putnam Avenue LLC. The certificate of occupancy remains exactly what it was. We did not ask for any deviations from that. Didn't want to deal with that. So the certificate of occupancy has 84 seats, 164 max occupancy on the same floors that were there. And essentially, I think this young lady has a great opportunity to start a business there that can really make a difference in the community. I hated to see our neighbor leave next door, and that building is for sale now. That was a little downer. But I'll turn it back over to her. We've got Jeff, if you can talk about the Class CR license. And it's essentially a restaurant. The lease that I have with her has certain requirements in it. I'm barred in DC. I'm a lawyer. I'm really interested in no nuisance, no issues, no calls from the Attorney General or any of the gentlemen on the call. So I expect this to be kind of an easygoing operation that is a real contribution to the strip. So I wanted to give some context around new ownership as well as new tenant. Jeff, do you want to add anything before I turn it back over to Elena and the commissioners?
Yes, can everyone hear me?
We can. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Good evening, everyone. Good seeing y'all again.
You too.
So yes, it's going to be a full service restaurant. Occupancy for the Sidewalk Cafe going to be about 15. We left open the possibility of having some sort of light entertainment because the competition in that area is so hectic that we wanted to see how business go first with just the food service. So we wanted to leave the opportunity open for, like Alina was saying, for a possibility of having some entertainment at some point in time.
Yeah. One thing I should add, thanks, Jeff, is one of the reasons I was extremely comfortable with Miss James is because in New York, she has multiple successful operations there that do kind of, well, I'll let Elena explain, but she's got several successful ventures there in the space. So I was really comfortable with her. But Elena, Jeff, do you have anything else?
Yes, and we also looking to get a stipulated license as well.
Great details. Thank you. And yeah, out of curiosity, Elena, tell us about your successes. Brag a little bit.
Yeah, so I just celebrated my 9-year anniversary in business back in New York. I do have 7 locations. The name of my locations in New York is called Blend Smoothie and Salad Bar. So that's where the healthy kick kind of comes from when it comes to mixed BU. I love the Adams Morgan area. I love DC. So it's become, definitely, great place. And I definitely want to have, a successful business here. I've been all around DC, and Adams Morgan is just such a great strip. The people here, again, as Greg said, it was sad to see the lady from the falafel place leave, but it's a great area. I've been welcomed by some of the neighbors, the ice cream place, really nice, new place, Baja Tap. So I definitely think it's a lovely area, and I plan to do my part to be successful, put in a lot of man hours, in the building. Like Greg said, he's done a great job with turning the building around, and it's a very clean place, and I plan on having this as a very successful business with a little different kick here. So again, in New York, I do smoothies and more healthy things. So I will have some of the traditional American foods here, such as fries and stuff like that. But I do want to aim towards having healthier options here as well.
That's great. And I think Greg mentioned earlier going for a wholesome perspective, which in general is good. And Adams Morgan, I think wholesome plus interesting is really popular. So I would make sure you have some edge to you, but keep the wholesome aspect as well. Of course, it's your decision. But yeah, thanks for all the information. And commissioners, go ahead.
Well, just one other comment, since we're all neighbors there in the local area. The thing I'm doing different in the building is when the Walker family had it, they had an apartment on the top floor. That's still a resident. I renovated it. It's still residential, but I do not plan to rent that out anytime soon unless I find the most spectacular residential tenant on the planet. So that's going to stay probably vacant for a long time.
Okay, helpful context. Thank you. And Commissioner Shapiro, were you about to ask something?
Yeah, a couple questions. Your sites in New York, did you had 3, you said?
7.
7.
Yeah.
Wow. At your age, so young. Did either of them have alcohol licenses? Any of them have alcohol licenses?
No, so this is the first.
This is your first. Okay. That piggybacks on that. Your choice of waste management, they've got beautiful equipment out back. I just saw you in the window a minute ago.
Yep.
So you're from New York, I'm assuming.
Originally from New York. I live here now.
Okay. In DC or out of DC?
In DC.
And are there any other principals involved in this location?
Meaning,
Well, in other words, have you got partners?
no, 100% ownership.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have you already hired your managers?
Yes, I actually have a manager who's relocating from New York. I want to make sure that this is a spectacular concept. So, yep. So someone who I know and trust is going to be
Well,
managing.
What I was getting at, have any of your managers been involved in establishments that have had dings from ABRA, from the DC Alcohol Beverage Cannabis Control Board? I got all the initials now.
No, but he has worked in numerous restaurants and bars. He's been to culinary school, and actually has he went to he has his liquor license. He took a class.
Yeah. But what I was going to say is that you're going to have more than one manager, I'm sure.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
And Commissioner Shapiro, I used to head up the enforcement division for ABRA for 15 years. So I also been approved to do the alcohol awareness training. Plus, I assisted in drafting the regulations back in 2000 with Fred Musali. So every client that I take on, they well-versed in compliance.
I'm sure they are, Mr. Jackson. I'm absolutely sure they are. But what we're trying to find out is the backgrounds a little bit. In other words, like, let us say, just hypothetical, that someone came to us and they wanted to open up a restaurant in Adams Morgan, but they had another restaurant over on 8th Street that had 15 ABC violations, or they were a manager at a restaurant that had 15 ABC. So we just want to know this. That's all.
Right, correct.
It's just trying to get an understanding of everything.
Good question. I think one thing to consider, the way I structured the lease, is there's some oversight responsibility that, I feel more comfortable, taking. Two, I recommended to Elena that she has an uncle who's a retired New York City police officer who lives here, that she may want to consider him being one of the managers of the establishment, just to help out. So, Elaine, I don't know if you want to talk about your uncle, but
yeah. Yes. Yeah, I do have my uncle who he is retired, and he is going to be another one of the managers here. And he's retired, so literally he's going to be here all the time. I will also be here, and Joshua, who is my other manager, will be here. So we would definitely have eyes on the building and on Mixed.
So can we get a clarification on the entertainment endorsement? You are or are not requesting one?
Yeah, she is requesting on it. So I will be submitting a supplemental application for that.
Oh, but the current application does not have an entertainment endorsement on it.
That's correct.
Okay. So we actually can't take action on an entertainment endorsement.
Right.
Because it's not in the application.
Right. But now it could become part of a settlement agreement. If they choose to, and the language could be like, if they choose to get a settlement, a entertainment endorsement, the hours of operation and things of that sort. So the hours of operation we was looking at is 6 p.m. to midnight.
Commissioner, thank you for that. Commissioner Faustin, you're saying something. You want to try that again, or type if your connection's weak?
Sorry, I was just saying we can do that on the settlement agreement side.
Perfect.
Exactly the way as Jeff suggested.
Perfect. Thank you. Well, thank you for all of that context. We're in a weird spot in the neighborhood where there's a lot of, the last year or so, there's been a lot of turnover, probably related to the pandemic. So it's really nice seeing, people that are very thorough with their plans coming through, but we also want to see you stick around. We hope that things work out, because I think new stuff is great, but also longevity is great. So I think we're on the same page here, right?
And Mr. Nixon, I don't know whether you did the work or Miss James did it, but it is, I know the building very well, or I knew the building very well, and it is absolutely gorgeous now compared to what it was. It was the pits before.
Did most 99% of it myself. Is so glad to hear you say that after all of the work that was done. Really proud of that building. and proud of its contribution to the strip.
So just for clarification, so with our next scheduled meeting with the full ANC where we can vote on support officially is the first week of September. You're seeking a Class C full license, and you expect to add an amendment for an entertainment endorsement, and you're also open to negotiating a settlement agreement alongside that. Is that all correct?
Yes, and we're looking for a stipulated license as well.
Perfect. 4 things. Okay. Thank you for clarifying. All right. Well, I don't have any questions. Commissioners, do you have anything else? Anyone in attendance have anything? All right. I'll move to consider this at our September 2023 full ANC meeting. Can I get a second?
I will second it, but I'd like to, I'm a little concerned about the entertainment endorsement not being on it now. So I think what we should do, I'm totally in favor of a stipulated agreement for the application that's before us now.
Mhm.
And if they apply for an entertainment endorsement, then I think we should, we can fast track it for them and look at it. But I don't,
Right. Now, let me say this. When we apply for it, we're going to still be replacarded. So we got to come back before you anyway.
Yeah. So I just think we should leave the entertainment endorsement off, even in the stipulation now.
That's a fair point. So yeah, just we'll leave that off, deal with it separately when the time comes, just so we have all of the official paperwork going through. Commissioner Foskey, is that clear? I think we might have lost him.
Right. And the reason I was suggesting to be put in the settlement agreement, rather than having the settlement agreement be amended, it can be put in at the same time.
Makes sense.
Well, I'm sorry, and I apologize in advance for delays, but for the novice folks like me within the peanut gallery, what does that mean when you can't have if you don't have an entertainment license? What is the limitation? Is it live?
The limitations on no
DJ or nothing?
Right. It's strictly food service.
So you can't have any music, no DJ, you can't have anything.
Right. You can have background music.
You can have background music.
Or
You can't have
recorded music.
DJ.
Yeah, recorded
You can't
music.
have a band.
Okay, and yeah, I that's what I have for now. I was just saying, just to sometimes have that, but
Right.
if that's hold anything back, then I don't want to, do that.
Mr. Jackson can probably answer this better than I. I think you can have the background music can be whoever's playlist puts it on your background music.
Oh,
But
yeah,
it
that
can't
could
be
be
an
possible,
actual
yeah.
DJ.
Okay.
Right.
Well, thank you for the education. I didn't mean to hold up the meeting.
That's
with
okay.
but just wanted to.
All right, so we'll move ahead. The motion on the floor is supporting stipulated license, full license, with the understanding that a settlement agreement will be negotiated at some point in the near future. All those in favor of moving this to our September meeting, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Got an aye. Yeah, we had audio connections. All right, passes 3-0. We'll be in touch about all of that in the meantime. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Look forward to bringing you into the neighborhood as well.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that is all of our agenda for tonight, I believe. Let me double check. Yeah.
Yes.
We'll